done, Don.
There you go.
Okay. I am Heidi Hester. I'm the chairman. It is February 21st, 2023 at 6 PM, maybe a little bit after, and we're going to get started. I'm going to call this meeting to order. First of all, we are going to see about the approval of the agenda. So, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Can we, so I don't know how to do it. I mean, took some time today and just jotted down some notes, and I know I was supposed to get them to you before, I just didn't have time. But there are a couple of things that I would, to add to the agenda today, so that we can just at least discuss them and get them on, get the communication started, and then I will just give the others, to put on for the next board meeting.
Would that go there, or would it go down at the bottom where it says additional comments?
I was gonna say, go ahead and tell us what the subjects are, and we might can just go ahead and just add the additional comments and suggestions section, just let you speak then. Would that be okay?
Mhm.
Instead of having to amend the whole agenda?
Okay,
Okay.
that'll work. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when we get there, if you guys just want to table some of them, that's fine with me too.
Okay.
Yep,
That sounds fine.
proceed with that.
Perfect.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a
Make a
motion.
motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we're approved, and we're gonna go to the approval of the minutes. If everybody's had a chance to look at those, is there any comments, questions, anything to adjust? If not, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, may I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, the, motion to approve the minutes, everybody's in favor, okay, and now,
Say all in favor.
oh, I apologize, all in favor,
Aye.
okay. Now we're going to go to the, new business. So first we'll start with the Soul Food Festival update.
Yeah, we had about 300 people in attendance this past Saturday, February 18th. We had 4 food trucks, we had 7 vendors inside, and multiple special entertainment from kids playing drums to a guy spinning 15 basketballs at one time. We had a singer, a motivational speaker. We had our library there with a table. The Max G. Creech Museum had a table there sharing information about Black History Month. Overall, I think it was a very successful event. And we had a sponsorship from Activate Selma, and that went towards giving food vouchers for the food trucks that were there.
Yeah, I've talked to a few people who attended. It says it's the best one they've had, so they're really pleased.
Yeah.
People who attended were really pleased by it.
Very well attended. We attended it. It was very nice. Enjoyed it a lot.
Without going into much detail, are you gonna continue the same structure next year?
I think we will. I think we'll try to get more variety of vendors next year, more variety or diverse entertainment that we haven't done in the past. So we'll get an earlier start on that, just to try to make it a little bit bigger and better.
Perfect,
Mhm.
okay. I guess we'll go now to the Latino Festival.
Yes, the Joco Latino Festival is May 7th, and that is from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m., I believe. I haven't got my flyer in front of me. It'll be in downtown Selma. We will have 3 bands performing that day. We'll have a parade, that is a walking parade. There's no vehicles in it. And that will kind of showcase the Hispanic culture, Latino culture.
Is that the one down Main Street?
Yes,
Just-
down Rayford
Yeah,
Street.
right.
Very short parade, but I think it's going to be great. We're also accepting vendor applications for that festival and sponsorship applications for that.
Where are the bands gonna set up in, where they gonna set up?
They will most likely be on the street.
Down there, past Christina this way or something?
We haven't got the exact placement, but I'm thinking more towards maybe in the intersection of Waddell
Yeah.
and Rayford.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
then, wine walk.
Wine Walk will be April 14th from 9 PM to 9, from 5 PM to 9 PM. We have 400 tickets to sell for that event. We are currently at 30, which we still have plenty of time to sell tickets. It got over 13,000 hits on Facebook when we posted it, over 76 shares. So we're anticipating a good turnout for that. We'll have vendors at the Civic Center.
Is there gonna be a wine stop, the way, yeah, I guess it's,
Yeah, the Civic Center is considered a stop where we'll have vendors placed in there. Hennett Vineyards will actually be in there selling wine. And then we have about 16 businesses downtown that will be either wine, juice, or water stops along the way. And each participant gets a wine glass when they arrive. And there was something else.
are they gonna have any kind of snacks along the way?
We will have 2 food trucks there,
Okay, yeah, so that's, yeah,
yes,
that's a good thing, yeah.
yeah. But I believe that is it.
Okay, National Fitness Campaign Project.
Yes, so we are getting ready. We have 2 quotes on the concrete slab that is 38 by 38. That will go on the front lawn of Harrison Gym campus.
Is it going up, I'm sorry, to interrupt. Is it one out there where the bell, I think it's Bell's Quarter out there, in that part section somewhere down
There are 4 orange flags out there kind of
Okay.
marking it. There's a sidewalk that goes along
Right.
Noble Street, and it's kind of, it'll be perpendicular
That's good,
to
because
that.
I was gonna
Yeah.
be visible from,
Yeah,
next year.
and that
Okay.
is the idea behind it, because, you know, we're trying to get a fitness trail, and we want that to be along that fitness trail coming down
You've
Noble
got the
Street.
advertisement too, so you want those. to be
Yeah, and
visible.
the wall that'll be facing Noble Street will have, like Town of Selma on it, or other sponsors that donate to that.
Cool. So
But
do you-
we're anticipating a concrete pour, I would say in a couple weeks.
That's my question.
Oh, wow.
An installation, National Fitness Campaign, they will actually send their engineers to install it, after this concrete cures for 28 days. And then I anticipate an early, May grand opening,
We'll make that big, we'll make that big.
bearing weather.
Yeah, we'll make
That's
that,
exciting.
which depends on what month, what weather shows up at the time, right? Yeah.
Wonderful. Local parks, a lighting update.
Our electrical superintendent and I went around to all of the parks. I believe I mentioned that last time. We went around to all the parks and identified what areas need to be lighted or lit, excuse me. And Mr. Shook has ordered the appropriate lights that he think will give enough foot candles for the area. And they will be installing as soon as they come in.
So where did you guys identify which parks and where at those parks?
We actually went to every park, Rayford Street Park, we went to Sumner. Sumner already has a light, because we moved playground equipment there, we put a structure over there. And there was some concerns from the residents that live in that area about it being too dark, so they've already installed one there. We actually went to Edgebrook, which has pretty decent lighting as is. And then we went to Harrison and identified around the ball field, the soccer fields, basketball court, and tennis court.
Most of those, I guess, they don't have LEDs in them right now, do they? Do they have LEDs? Because once you put LEDs out there, they will light up the
At
world.
which part?
Any, I mean, just the one.
I think Sumner's is LED.
Okay, yeah, those are really,
We also went to Bright Wilson and identified some areas that probably need to be more lit.
Okay. And what did you find at Edgebrook? Edgebrook, the only thing the only lights they have at Edgebrook are if you go there and turn the tennis courts on.
Yeah, there's actually, you got the tennis court lights,
Mm-hmm.
but then there's actually along the wooden fence that divides where the houses are.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually lights up there already, and our electrical department was going to check to see if the light bulbs just need to be replaced.
Oh, okay. Okay. And once we get those installed and they're there, I know I mentioned it before, are we gonna look into signage for hours of operation?
Yes, and we'll actually do like park rules and hours of operations for each park.
Okay.
That is already in the works.
Wonderful.
good deal.
All right, that takes us down to the additional comments and suggestions. So, Don, if you want to give us what you'd like to speak on.
So I have 7 that I just jotted down today when I was supposed to be listening to another conference call. But, so one of the things that I would like us to discuss and bring to your attention is the possibility of a portable speaker system for events, especially our youth sports events, soccer games. It would be very, very helpful to have one currently at Harrison Gym. When we're going through multiple events like we do and we stack them, it would be great to be able to be on a loudspeaker and let the previous sporting event know that we are backed up and we need to clear the court, we need to clear the field, we need to move on so we can get the next one. Just about every time we do that, it's kind of a cluster, and we don't want to, force anybody to do anything, but if it came over a loudspeaker, and I also thought it would be a great opportunity for Parks and Rec to advertise. We could have advertised this last weekend that the Soul Food Festival was right after at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It would be another opportunity to let folks know, if we've got 120 kids involved in these sports and we've got games multiple times, to get that information out, not on Facebook, not on any of these other, but just regular talking with folks. And just to give you an idea, I kind of went and looked, and from what I can see, for a 2-speaker system, cordless, wireless, that's about $400. So, if you could give us a update on the Harrison Gym, the scheduling, and some of the scheduling issues, and if we've had any so far, and what were they, and if we've got a plan in place to look at some different options. I had a question about senior games that is coming up. What is the town of Selma involved in? Do we have any of the games that are gonna be played in here? If so, what are they and where? And if you can answer any of them when I'm going through them, you feel free to.
You finish. I'm writing them down so I
Okay.
can address them after.
You already gave us one, Brack Wilson, and I know that we are pushing through, and it seems like every sport that we're pushing out now has got a lot more involvement. If we're going to do the updates to Brack Wilson, if we're gonna bring Phil into the outfield, if we're gonna do something to infield, are we gonna have it ready by baseball season? Edgebrook, netting. I know that, I don't know if it was somebody from the Parks and Rec, somebody had put up a basketball hoop. I don't know if they had zip tied it or what, but they had put it up on one of the sides. I went out there the next day and it was gone. So I don't know if somebody had just taken it back down or anything, but I try to keep an eye on it, and I have not seen it back up there, but I would like to see us address the net. It is all in one spot, and I gotta assume that the netting was not cheap to put up, and it's pretty, if you go out there and we have a storm or anything that rolls through, that net gets whipped around pretty quick, and it's just gonna get ripped down. So if we could get it back in place and secure it properly, that would be great. And this is one you might have to get back to me is, can you provide the board with what process Parks and Rec Department has for handling citizen concerns, complaints, compliments, and how those are handled in-house?
Is that a Parks and Rec thing, though? Is that a?
If it comes straight to her, I would assume it
I
is.
just wonder if it's complaints, just.
So I just didn't know, and that's part of me asking is, how is it handled? Is it put to somewhere else? Is it handled in-house by Parks and Rec Department, or is it put to somewhere else? And I received a coach's application packet. I've reviewed it and looked it over. Seems like it is relatively new. Did anybody happen to look at it and I have some questions about it. I didn't know if legal had looked at it, if anybody else had looked at it for the information that we are requesting of our potential volunteer coaches.
Okay.
Are we okay with what we're asking them?
You talking about like social security number and all that?
Yep.
That's because we send the list to our police department and do background checks on our volunteers for liability purposes.
Right. And I've done multiple like that. I've never had to put that information here. I go in, set up an appointment, I give that information, and maybe it's not a way of doing it here, but I give that information when I get to the police station, when I go in and do my background check information. I give them that information, I don't give it to,
Yeah, we turn all that information over to Chief Thomas. He runs the background checks internally, and then it's shredded. So, just to make sure we're covered, we have, the appropriate people in place. So, that's the only reason for that.
okay.
It's simply to protect, kids, the town, everyone involved.
Oh, I've done it multiple
Yeah,
times,
yeah.
I
Yeah,
I've not, like I said, that was the way I have done it a couple other places. I gave the information to somebody else. I did not give it to the league or
Right.
the folks that I was doing
Right.
with. So,
got it.
that's it.
And I can address some of these. I wrote them all down for you. We do have a portable speaker system, and we can use that.
Perfect.
So we already have that. Harrison Gym scheduling issues, there have been a couple issues where games ran long. As you know, in sports, not everything runs smoothly as well. You can have a game going overtime, too many fouls being called. We've had an influx of teams this year, which is not a bad thing. We have been working with the school system to get 2 additional gyms. There is an issue with the policy we hold with North Carolina League of Municipalities. They have a sports exclusion for sports injuries. So, and in the school, requirement for insurance, they require $1 million general liability and a $5,000 medical payment, policy. And through the current policy that we have, we cannot, obtain, access to the gyms right now. So we have been researching an add-on, and we found one this week, but it's quite expensive just for one league. So I'm trying to find a alternate solution. So, that is in the works. I know it's taken a long time. We spoke to another, it was Joco Baseball. They've been trying to get access to the baseball fields and get their, agreement since August, and they just got it.
And the reason I brought it up is that we have more kids signed
Yes.
up for soccer than we had baseball or basketball, so I'm assuming we're gonna have more teams.
And I can give you those numbers.
And I just don't see us being able to hold practice on
Yeah.
half court for indoor soccer
Yeah.
for 10U kids.
Let me take a moment to address that clearly. Unfortunately, we have found out that over many years, a lot of the agreements that we should have had in place for quite a few things, including sports, use of school fields and things like that, just weren't properly in place. For our safety as a town, for the safety of our citizens, the safety of taxpayer dollars, in case something does happen on somebody else's property, we have to make sure it's done properly first. Clearly, we don't have all the fields in place right now to handle, quite frankly, the influx that we're seeing. And we do know that we do need to make these partnerships solid so that we can use these other fields. But we certainly cannot have anybody from the town of Selma on these fields as players through our Parks and Recreation without having the proper agreement. Okay.
Senior games, that was the next one.
Yep.
We are going to hold the shuffleboard, competition, if I'm thinking right. I don't have the exact date for that. We just got the packets not long ago, so I haven't
Yeah.
remembered them yet. But we do have the packets for signups in our office. They're at Town Hall, and you can also do it online.
Okay.
And
think-
we've also taken them to the Aging Center,
Perfect.
side here.
Where's it gonna be? in Harrison?
Yeah, we have the shuffleboard courts in there.
That's what I thought.
Brack Wilson, the renovation project, that will most likely not be done before this upcoming baseball season, just because it is a large project.
Right.
Now, we are doing a town cleanup for Earth Day on April 22nd at Brack Wilson. We've discussed in our department head meetings, each department is going to send 2 employees. Parks and Rec is going to be responsible for getting what equipment is needed, or is needed, what's the plan for that day, what are we trying to accomplish? But I see just a general cleanup, power washing, pulling weeds, working on the field as much as we can.
Right.
Was that April 22nd?
Yeah, it's actually Earth Day. I am on the board for Friends of Joco Parks, and they do a big thing with all the parks in Johnston County, and they asked if we kind of want to, jump on, their event with that. And so we're going to do that, but what better way than to fix a park?
That's right.
That's right. Edgebrook netting, we have actually gone out there and tried to assess that. The issue is that the 2 light poles that it's attached to, they're actually being pulled in. I have put in my next budget to come up with a solution. I've been out there with Mr. Shook, who is our electric superintendent, because the electric department was actually the ones who installed that.
Strung it up there.
So we're trying to come up with a solution. I'm trying to get I don't think the net's the issue, but I think it may be too heavy. So we're trying to figure out a way to secure that on both sides, because on both sides, the poles are being pulled.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Put another pole in the middle?
That's something we discussed, or trying to secure it to the fence at the bottom. It's just, we've got 2 wires running and they've zip tied them, and that's just not, I think it was a temporary fix, but now we need more of a permanent solution for that.
It's almost like stringing a zip line. And the farther you get on it, if everybody's been on a zip line, the farther out you get, the more sag you're gonna have. You cannot, doesn't matter what, you can't take all that slack out of it, and that's, with those poles, the way they're in, the condition they're in, you can only put so much tension on those poles, and you're going to do exactly what you're talking about. You're just gonna pull them together.
Yep, and they
So-
are. The process of complaints. So, say my staff gets a complaint, it goes directly to them. They then forward it to me, and I, as a director, decide, is this something that needs to be escalated to my superior, which would be, deputy town manager, or is it something we can handle in-house? Is it something simple? So that's pretty much the process. If I think my staff can handle it, I'm say, hey, we need to do A, B, and C, send an email, follow up, just so there is written documentation for that. And then if it needs to go through me, I handle that situation, whether it's calling in, a resident, a parent, or something, depending on what it may be. And then if I think it's something that our deputy town manager or town manager mayor need to know, then I escalate it to them.
So you follow up with an email or a call just to,
We'll call, we can call, and then we follow up with the email, just, to make sure that everything, is good. Not that we can fix every issue, because there's just some things out of our hand, but we do try.
some people just want to be heard, and they know
Yeah.
if a follow-up call or just
Yeah.
if they've heard, sometimes that may be enough.
And I assumed that was it, and I was just following up from Mike, because I had 2 people talk to me, and they have talked to you and somebody else. And in my opinion, you handled it and it was done, but in theirs, they wanted to know if there was anything else, and so.
Oh, and I'll give you those numbers for your indoor soccer, because they're quite impressive. We had 146 kids sign up in 19 teams. So,
It is quite impressive, isn't it?
it is
What's that,
impressive.
what it used to be done? I know you
Last year, we had,
119, I think.
yeah, and I don't think I think we got in on the tail of the year before, but,
that's good.
it is very good, and in fact, at 7 o'clock, I've got a
There's a coaches meeting.
coaches meeting tonight at 7. So, yeah, it is very, 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 very encouraging. Basketball season has been going on great. All the different age groups, I think have gotten plenty of playing time. We had a little miscue with micro, Monday night? Yeah, Monday night. Neither micro team showed up, so both Selma teams got wins. Forfeit. But it was nice because, our team, we've got 10 on our team. We were actually able to showcase the boys out there. And they just played 5-on-5 in front of their parents and the folks who were there for about a half hour, and then we were done. But we are hoping to finish up this Saturday. And we have had a great time. I mean, it has been good. We have had some hiccups, but, I mean, overall, it has been, the kids enjoyed it. That's what my main goal is. They come every time, they come excited, so I just have to put my adult
So you can ask for
stuff
it.
to the side.
That's right. What do you think the change in the number has stemmed from?
I think we took flyers to the schools, elementary, middle, we even went to the high school because we're doing a 14 to 18-year-old league. That's something we haven't done before, and we actually had 18 sign up in that league, which is great.
Wow.
Usually our sports stop at 12, but Mike's been adamant that, we go to the older kids because all kids don't make school teams.
That's right.
And that's also been a good thing for us because we've kind of let our registrations end after school tryouts. Just same reason, all kids don't make school teams, but they still need to play. So we want to give every kid access to play, and I think that's just been a really good thing for us, kind of piggybacking off of that. And then Mike's done a great job just getting the word out, like, he goes and, we had a kid that was, he was hanging around Harrison Gym. He was getting in the gym somehow, we didn't understand how. Found out it was a rock. So he just was going, I could see him on the camera, he was just shooting basketball, not causing any harm, not damaging anything. Mike goes up to him and says, hey, you wanna play? Puts him on a team, pays for his fee,
I love that.
and we've not had any issues.
Wow.
So I think it's just reaching out to those kids that maybe nobody has before.
That's good.
That's wonderful.
And he's a great kid. He's on my team.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yes, he is. He's a good kid to,
And now he tells on the kids.
I like that.
and he's good. I mean, from there, we've found out about, the use of the outdoor courts, and, a lot of kids around that neighborhood use those courts, and they use them frequently, for pickup games and stuff, and it's just getting to a different segment that I don't think we have gotten, before, and, I will talk to Mike because it is something that was brought to my attention very early on. And I don't know if we have it, but I would love for us to start and get some kind of a scholarship or, just a way for us to get more kids involved.
He's been scholarshiping kids on his own dime, but I agree with you, we do need like some kind of fund for that.
Could that be a budget issue, or is that more?
It's really, and this is how we did it at a former job. What we did is we sent out letters to businesses.
Okay.
It's just like a straight sponsorship package, and we
Okay.
say, do you want to sponsor a team? Do you just want to send money to sponsor a kid? And we had a special, budget line for that and we would just pull from that to pay for those kids.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. Is there anything else? Is there anything you want maybe, that you didn't, touch on, maybe address next time? I mean, we can
Leslie
follow up
did
on
good,
some of
Leslie did a good
these.
job of this, apparently she's anticipating well, listen.
No, I'll just have to go back and think of more things now.
Well, there's a couple things we can
Creative
kind
monster.
of, we can follow up on. I've kind of made some notes, but,
No, yeah, I mean, and we have, and I want it to keep growing and everything, and it is like I've told you before, that is my passion and the youth sports and, getting out and going. We went to the Soul Food Festival and getting out and going to more of these festivals and getting the community, the neighborhoods involved. We've got a couple of kids in our neighborhood that have never played before, but Braden is all over the neighborhood in playing, and both those kids are homeschooled. They've been in 2 of the sports. Their folks brought them in, and I think they've enjoyed it. So
Wonderful.
I don't think it can do any, it's just growing and growing, and I hope it continues to grow. We just have to make sure that it doesn't grow too fast, because and the reason I brought up some of the scheduling is because early on, we had some really, really frustrated parents,
Yeah.
and we had some practices that got kicked back like that, and I had 2 boys leave. Because if we're not gonna start practice and it's 15 minutes after start time, we're done, we're out of here.
Right.
We were already starting too late in the evening. I mean, we were starting practices at 7:30 in the evening for kids who should have been home getting ready for bed. So that was one of my biggest concerns, is that we don't wanna grow so much that we're having practices at 9, 10 o'clock at night, just so that we can accommodate the sports, because I think that is gonna do worse than better.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, what we faced in the beginning of scenes was growing pains. We were doing new things that had not been done before. You know, we were renting our gym out, which was great. We were getting that exposure. Now we feel a little bit more comfortable. You know, we've got some experience under our belt. But I think we are gonna face growing pains as the town does get better, bigger. In all areas, just not Parks and Rec. And I think we are doing the best we can to, you know, account for that growth. Whether it's adding new staff or trying to get new facilities, I think we're doing the best that we can at the moment.
Okay. Is there any need for a closed session that anybody's aware of? Okay, if not, do I have a motion for adjournment?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?